Today, I would like to talk a little bit about discipline and essentially developing habits and a routine. So, but I'm just gonna try to keep it short and condensed so people can get some value out of it without having to spend, I don't know, 10 minutes watching a video. So, starting with discipline, and I'm gonna talk from experience, especially since I just recently finished a 30-day challenge in which I learned 100 words of Mandarin Chinese through Memrise, the app, every single day. Every single day. But of course, yeah, worthwhile mentioning that some days I did less words, then I compensated for those lost words the next, or those missed words the next day. So it was really useful for me to have made the challenge public. So, I made a video about it. I put it on YouTube. So it was quite public that I was doing this challenge, right? And, I love my subscribers. A bunch of strangers were also looking at the video in which I said, okay, I'm gonna learn 100 words a day for 30 days. So, I was essentially, I felt like I felt committed, quite committed to learning those words every day. I felt committed to the challenge. And whenever my motivation faltered a bit, it was, I thought to myself, okay, I can't embarrass myself now, so I'm gonna go and make this happen. I'm gonna learn, and it was basically like a large time commitment, essentially, right? So like every day, I was spending a few hours on the app learning vocabulary in Chinese. So, what can you do? You don't have to make it public online, but if you have a challenge, if you have a goal, I think that it's cool for you to perhaps share it with your family or with your friends, and they can hold you accountable. So I think that that's a cool thing to do. So that can help with the discipline. And another thing that I consider is that it helps to make things realistic, right? So let's say that you're working full time, and you know that when you come back home, you're just so tired that you don't feel like doing anything else except for, I don't know, watching TV or whatever, right? So if you try to impose like a gigantic daily goal for yourself of like, oh, I'm gonna try to spend 2 hours doing language learning every day. So I think that respecting your own boundaries and your own time constraints, and also considering, the energy that you have, I think that it's nice to sort of try to establish smaller goals at the beginning. So perhaps like try to get started with 15 minutes a day reviewing flashcards or learning in whatever way you want to. And by respecting yourself, you're way more likely to just develop good habits. So perhaps you wake up and you review flashcards. Before going to bed, you watch videos in your target language, whatever it may be. So I think that respecting your own daily routine and respecting your own level of energy, that can be quite useful in remaining and staying disciplined to learn a language. And also I think that something that's crucial as well is for us to always try to learn the language using methods that we enjoy. If you're dreading picking up your workbook because you find it boring, it will be harder for you to do it, as opposed to just, I don't know, like watching a video in a target language that you're really interested in and learning with the script or like the text with the audio, for something that you do enjoy. So of course it's easier to stay disciplined doing something that you want to do versus something that you're feeling like it's a chore. So, and in my opinion, I think that language learning shouldn't be a chore. It should be something enjoyable. I always say this, and I think that a lot of, if not most polyglots that I know feel the same way. For instance, Steve Kaufman, the great polyglot, he always says, like, try to learn using content that you enjoy. So you really liking something, like sometimes that would be, I'll give an example, like I'm going through a phase in which I really enjoy Russian poetry and literature. So sometimes I'm looking forward to picking up the book and actually going through it, and that makes it easier for me to stick with the language learning and being disciplined, us respecting our boundaries, and doing something that learning languages in a way that we enjoy learning will help us create little habits and then basically expanding them if necessary. Maybe you can get started with 15 minutes a day, and then you realize that perhaps on the weekend you can spend more time learning languages. So maybe you do an hour on Saturday, an hour on Sunday, and keep on perhaps the following week. Try to do 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, but all within your within the parameter, within your energy level, within the possibilities in your life, right? Because everyone has things going on. We have families, we have jobs, we have friends, we have social, lives as well, and juggling everything can feel overwhelming. And especially if we have really ambitious goals in terms of language learning, it's easy to put them aside when things get, when we get overly busy. So I think that staying realistic and then going from there may be worse than the other way around. Then, of course, getting overly ambitious and saying, oh, hey, okay, I'm just gonna try to spend 2 hours a day every day learning a language, and then realizing that you don't have more than 30 minutes a day. But yeah, I'm curious to hear everyone's thoughts regarding my thoughts on discipline and a routine for language learning. I'm always curious to, to hear what everyone has to say. And good luck, my friends.